So, what is going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at Transformers Legacy Voyager class bulkhead. And just to get stuff out of the way, thanks for 90 subscribers. And also, yeah, I took a bit of a break just to take one. In the meantime, though, I finally got a Jazz. He's on the way. Finally did it. I had to go on eBay, and I got a decent deal. We'll talk about it more when he gets here, and I inevitably review him. But this is Legacy Voyager Bulkhead, who's supposed to be the Prime Universe one, but doesn't look very Prime, does he? He looks G1, which I'm not mad about, but if I was looking for the Prime one, I could understand the frustration. I really could. Because he doesn't look anything like Prime Bulkhead. The only thing he has is this and the head, and that's it. Other than that, yeah, he's just G1 looking Bulkhead. And I mean, he's still good looking, and he still has some pretty nice stuff going down, including this tarp on his back, which is kind of just a cape in a way, but it's not also just a cape. We'll get to them. As far as the figure goes, it looks really nice. The main body is translucent, but it's a thick translucent plastic, so I don't think it's going to break. And I mean, he is nice. I mean, the back is nice, but you can remove the tarp just to get it off here. You can remove it, which will reveal his other accessory, other than his mace, little wrecking ball hand. And the back without the tarp is kind of weird to me because it looks super dull and it's hollow looking, and it's just, yeah, you just want to have the tarp on there. But that's not all the tarps can do, though. So we'll just look at the accessories. Fold the peg like that, and then do that, and then you suddenly now have a shield. And yes, it's supposed to go this way. So yeah, now you can have a wicked shield for your bulkhead, which makes sense for bulkhead. This has the peg. It can fold through the other side as well. There's also pegs on the tarp. Pegs on like so. He has another accessory, which, like I said, you've seen, which is this awesome looking little mini gun pistol thing, which is his energon weapon. It has paint on it, so it doesn't look nearly as dull as Skids' does, but yeah, so you can put that on his arm if you'd like, or where I had it, there's a peg hole right there. And there is a peg on the back. There's two pegs. There's one on each side. And they just kind of go in to it. So you can either store it downwards or peg it onto his shoulder like it's a shoulder cannon. It works better as a shoulder cannon, if we're being honest. It just kind of does, because it's one of those weird guns where it's like, miniguns, to me, either have to be stupidly big, or if they're stupidly small, they're just shoulder cannons at that point. But it also works as a little wrist-mounted gun. I don't know why I don't like him holding it, but as a wrist-mounted weapon, it works. Like I said, it just stores on the same peg. Just like that. Really nice. And his last accessory, he already has equipped on him, obviously. That would be his wrecking ball hand, which, as you can see, opens up and goes around the hand, which is really nice. And it's painted silver, looks really good. You can put it on either hand. I will admit it is easier to get it off of the left hand than it is the right hand, but me personally, I just put it on the right hand, so now it's stuck there to me. I mean, as far as the robot goes, though, I mean, he looks nice. The head sculpt is really good, and it does look like Prime Bulkhead. Yeah. There it is. Prime Bulkhead's head sculpt. Looks nice. Looks real nice. But as far as the body goes, it's not Prime Bulkhead. But we'll talk about that towards the end of the video when I get into a little bit of a rant. Just to do a bit of ranting. So the articulation on Bulkhead is pretty good. So you have a ball joint in the head, but it's a bit limited. Forward and back and arms, outward and elbow, but this elbow's really tight. Swivel, waist swivel, forward and back, outward, which is ratcheted. Knee joint, which goes a little beyond 90. Does have a swivel, but it's at the hip. And he does have ankle tilt, and he kind of has forward and back. Kind of forward-ish. Or rock, but other than that, he has the standard articulation, and I mean, he looks good, and you can't really see his face throughout the entire review because that chest is just monolithic. Look at that. Look at the size of that. Anyway, here he is next to Shadow Panther for some scale. And here he is next to one of the last reviews, that being Ironhide. Also, I found out on my Ironhide, one of his arms is backwards. I'm not sure which one, just to point it out here. This one is different from this one, as you can see. One of them's backwards. I don't know what part's wrong. I'm pretty sure the part's wrong. But I think it's this one because it goes back way too far. I'm not sure which one it is, but I just wanted to point that out because I never noticed until after the review that happened. But anyway, let's get into the transformation for Bulkhead. And to transform Bulkhead, pretty easy, pretty simple. Not hard. Remove that. Remove this. You can leave the tarp on, and I will. It's pretty easy to leave the tarp on. Unpeg the shoulders, which will then release the chest. Fold the head down, come into the chest, and there is a black panel. This black panel right there. We'll fold out, and that will cover where his head was, which we'll see more in a second. Take his arms, fold them up, and they peg together at the shoulder part. Fold in the elbow, fold down the front, fold those down, and then fold them out. And then for the bottom half of the figure, take the black piece here, fold it out of the way first. That needs to go first. And then fold that. And then kind of leave it for a second. Come to the back of the legs and open them up so you can flip out the little container things there. Pretty nice and easy. You can then peg in the feet, fold them in, peg them together, and then bend the knees. Then the containers will, the little gas containers will peg into the side. So there's a peg hole right there. You can see it right there. And that is where those will go. Make sure everything's pegged together. Fold it up. And then there is slots on these circular looking bits here, the kind of half circles. Right there, and they peg in. Nice and easy. Peg in the guns. So he does have good weapon storage. He has built-in weapon storage, so that is an awesome thing. So you just kind of store them on the back of the legs, just like that, and then fold down the sides of the kind of tarp. And there is Bulkhead's alt mode, which isn't Prime Bulkhead again, but it's a good alt mode. Yeah, I love this alt mode. It's a little beefy box thing. And one issue I have is that, but unlike the Trailbreaker and Hoist mold from Thrilling 30, this one has an easy remedy. You can just flip the chest up and put that back in if you push it down. So that's awesome. As far as this guy goes, though, I mean, when I bought him, I didn't realize how he transformed, and I thought he was a lot more basic. I thought his arms just folded back. No, they don't. They actually fold into the cab, and, like, he transforms a lot differently than I thought he did. I didn't think he was... I thought he was a lot more simple. I thought he just kind of folded his legs and arms back and flipped the head in, and that was it. I'm glad I was wrong. I just love this alt mode. I love the different green. Like, I love the darker green to the forest green. It's just really nice. And, of course, just like the alt mode, this one has a bit of an Easter egg, though, if you turn it around. flip up the tarp, mini guns just spinning. There you go. And of course, like I mentioned, you can move the tarp, and it looks awful now because see his old rotten thighs. Yeah, so this thing's kind of intended to have the tarp. It's nice that it is removable, but it does look kind of bad without it. So if you ever did find this guy secondhand without it, kind of suck. And he does roll pretty nicely. He also has a fair few weapon ports, which is, he has them on the tires for some reason. He has it there, and he has this peg. There's one on top, plus the peg. Plus the other one there. More wheel. It's got lots of weapon ports. Plus, if you wanted to fold open the feet on the back, more weapon port. Plus the port from the wrecking ball. There's a lot of ports going on here, and that's fine. So let's just get to my thoughts on this figure. And my thoughts on this figure, he's good. But, if you're a Prime fan, you're definitely mad about this. I'm not. It's Bulkhead. I'm good with it. We hadn't seen Bulkhead in years prior to this guy, if I'm not mistaken. Like, getting a mainline Bulkhead, I think the last mainline we had was Prime. Because Bulkhead's one of those characters that's not really original, because he showed up in our Energon was? I think it was Energon or Armada. He shows up. And it's like, that was the first instance of Bulkhead. But Bulkhead, as we know, it shows up in animated for the first time. So he's not even that old of a character compared to the other ones. But he's a fan favorite and everyone loves him. And they kept bringing him back. And then they finally said, oh, we're going to do a Prime version. And then they did a G1-ified Prime version that literally everyone hated. They're like, huh? Well, I don't think everyone hated, but if you're a Prime fan, you hate this thing, probably. Because you were promised Prime figures, and they started delivering on it because they realized, oh, people don't want G1 Prime figures? What? I don't know why they didn't think of that at the beginning, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a redo on this Bulkhead eventually. Because this isn't the Prime Universe one, this is just a random Bulkhead. I'm just going to put this on his arm, because that's how I'd put it, so I don't lose it down the back of the shelf. I mean, I like this figure, and honestly, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 5. I'm gonna. His articulation's a bit lacking, which isn't that bad, but, man, he's just not, I can't really find flaw. I'm going to give him a 4.5 just because the articulation's lacking, so 4.5 out of 5. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's a great figure. If you have the chance of getting him like I did, he's shelf-warming my area. I don't know why my Walmarts don't know how to restock. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I've walked in there. I work near the closest Walmart. So every day on break or on lunch, I'll walk in the Walmart and see if they got a new stock in. They've had a new stock one time in the entirety. Bulkhead and Blaster have been shelf-warming. It's unbelievable how bad they've been shelf-warming. There's no Deluxe Legacy figures left. There's only Dinos left again, because the whole wave they restocked, which was like the Hot Rod and Crosshairs wave, along with 86 RC and Bumblebee Movie Ratchet, they all got sold out. I bought 3 out of 8 of them. That was in that restock. I bought 3 out of 8, meaning there was 5 other ones that are gone. I didn't touch them. And in the Studio Series Voyagers, there's only Sweep left. And I'm just complaining about this because my Walmart doesn't know how to restock. And I go to the other ones, and it's the same thing. They don't know what to do. They don't restock. They just kind of go, yeah, it's good enough. And then they don't do anything. And then, get this. I go to buy Skullgrin and Pinpointer on Walmart Canada. I order it, right? I notice they haven't been shipped yet. I call Walmart customer service, and they're like, yeah, the item hasn't been shipped. And I'm like, I ordered it on the 23rd. They weren't supposed to come out till the 1st, but they should have been shipped anyway. Nope, nothing. Not a thing. So they're going to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to call them on Saturday and be like, yeah, I never got these items. And they're like, oh, it didn't ship yet. I work in customer service. I know what that means, so it's kind of stupid to me. But that's just me ranting. I wanted to rant a little bit. And it wasn't even about Bulkhead. Because this Bulkhead's good. He's not Prime Bulkhead, and I understand why Prime fans are frustrated, but I like this Bulkhead a lot. This has been Eilt Elite signing out.